Hello, welcome to Loremaster's Lair. I'm your Loremaster, here today for the first time in my new apartment. I'm still going to be messing with the setup, since one, I'm not fully unpacked, and two, I'm not sure what the right angles are, but anyway, first video from new apartment. I'm your Loremaster, here today for another video exploring the nations of Galarian. Specifically, we find ourselves back in Tian Xia, looking at the third of the main Successor States. After Lingshan and Poli, we now look at Quain. While Lingshan is military might and Poli is tradition, Quain is the realm of heroes. Here, a mythic balance allows those known as Cultivators to surpass the human limits and become a walking natural phenomenon called Grandmasters. The Grandmasters shape everything in the country, both through people aspiring to reach their heights, as well as Grandmasters' volatile actions and reactions to the world around them, and to each other. Like the other two great Successor States, Tian Xia humans are the most populous of the ancestries here. In addition, Kitsune, Tengu, and Nagaji all find themselves drawn here. Finally, there is a noted population of Yaogwai here, themselves being connected to cultivation. That's how they begin life to begin with. The government is run by recanters, those who give up the ability to practice cultivation to allow for neutrality while they run the country, putting as much devotion to magistration as they did cultivation. And at the top, the Emperor Emeritus is a former Grand Master who gave away all powers of cultivation in order to trade a celestial dragon for a celestial pearl and a wish, this being called the wish cycle. This wish has traditionally been used to ensure the prosperity of Quain. Previously, the nation was ruled by a king, and the hearts of the princesses were the sacrifices until the renunciation of cultivation was found to be an equal trade. The most powerful organizations of the Grandmasters are the four great sects, who more or less run the country, each dividing it into the year into 4 seasons. Each one is basically in charge during their own season. The Cloud Crane School is the spring sect, and are organized order of students who have a high rate of success in becoming Grandmasters. Summer is for the Divine Chaos Cult, which combines several faiths and several techniques to ensure a rapid rise, and to do so haphazardly, to the point of most burning themselves out before they reach the Grandmaster's height. The Enduring Jade Clan is a great family who rules fall. Finally, rulers of winter and night are the Shadow Tongue Temple, who work to create as much fear as possible. After all, they see it as their duty. The entirety of the nation is driven by cultivation and martial arts. While the 1,000 Grandmasters are the greatest example, every farmer can pull their own plow, and most, if not all, restaurants advertise their meals as balanced ways to improve cultivation. While not the nation of armies like Lingshan is, Quain would have my money if there was an actual fight between the two. Especially with the whole wish cycle pearl thing going on. That definitely helps. Now for geography. The capital is Heiming, and where the Council of Recanters and the Emperor Emeritus leads the country. Two main rivers run through the country, the Golden River, which separates it from Lingshan, and the Dragon Sweat River, which runs through the center of the nation and past Heiming. Outside of little towns we know next to nothing about, we have the Eru Forest, home of lumber production, 90% of the nation's fauna, and a temple of the whispering spider, former temple to Lao Shupo, and current lair to a giant spider. Don't think that I forgot about religions. For religions, there are many that are worshipped in the country as there are schools of combat. Some of the largest religions include those two deities of order that you would expect with martial artists, like Shizuru, Ioi, and King Zhao. Those of more loose associations that also do find their ways to inspire the martial arts, like Jin Li, Beiko, and the Lady of the North Star. And then there's those that are not as orderly as we'll say, like Mugawa and Netharu and Sun Wukong. In the end, it's just take a pick of your philosophy. That brings us to the end of today's main topic, but in lieu of a side tangent today, I have one conversation about cultivation, or specifically self-cultivation. Self-cultivation originally grew from the schools of thought of Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism. In Confucianism, the beliefs include that children are the continuation of their parents' life, and therefore presses children to improve themselves through self-discipline. Taoism works to connect one's mind and body with nature, and instructs one to work to break the bonds of society. In Buddhism, the term bhavana, used to describe the process or workings to the state of no self, and is often translated to cultivation. From these, eventually, cultivation began growing in Chinese philosophy, and began affecting it, returning cultivation to back upstream, if you will, re-affecting that which it originally grew from. Confucianism used the concept to grow one's mind and character through art, music, and philosophy, hoping to eventually build a more harmonious society. This eventually led to the concept for the Junzi, a profound person who has built a character. As Confucianism continued to become central to Chinese philosophy, cultivation of oneself to be better became center of all Eastern thought. Then eventually modern day came around, which first of all, acknowledgement of cultivation being part of different martial arts genres, cultivation itself being a subgenre of Chinese fiction, which is how most of us know it and how we have it now in Pathfinder, and specifically in Quain. However, it also influenced a few other things. First, the concept of Junzi in Confucianism was eventually reflected back in the writings of Nietzsche and his ideas on Übermensch, the superior person. Just less of how they reach there in Nietzsche's version as opposed to the cultivation-rich Junzi. But also in the West, around this time, Freud, through his studies in psychology, established the idea of identity, a self-identity, which has always been there, but without the study of philosophy, most people would just overlook it. But from here, and with cultivation, eventually in Japan there was two forms of therapies, of methods to help ease one's mind and improve oneself from not ideal psychological areas. I'm not sure how to exactly word it, but anyway, basically self-cultivation of the psychological self. Both of them arising in Japan. The Morita therapy method and the Nikan therapy method. And then this in turn was reflected back to the West with the constructive living mental health approach. So, in conclusion, self-cultivation not only is a big branch of Chinese fiction, but also is reflected in several mental health improvement methods through self-cultivation, as well as led to one of Nietzsche's most well, I was going to say most misunderstood ideas, but it's Nietzsche. All of his ideas are misunderstood by people who want to use whatever he says to their own benefit. But anyway, that's another topic altogether. That brings us to an end to today's video, and an end of looking at the three main successor states. Sorry, next month we'll be branching out more, but as for next week, we'll be starting a new set of God videos. And hopefully I'll have this better organized, but not holding my breath. See you then.